to get ready. So how can we decrease the transition rows that we're going to have between ICD-9 and ICD-10? And thank you, by the way, for participating in that poll. I'm interested to hear what people say. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to run an ICD-9 frequency report, and we're going to review some of those unspecified codes, some of those that end in 9. Now, when you do that, some of them are specific, even though they end in 9. There's no better code for you. And we're going to begin to revise the list, though, patients' problem lists, particularly for patients who you see frequently. You know, you see the patient 2 or 3 or 4 times a year for those conditions. Begin revising their problem list to reflect the more specific ICD-9 codes. That is going to be helpful to us. If there's a more specific code, we're going to begin to query our clinicians now, because what we don't want to have happen is that we go back to our clinicians 3 or 4 or 5 patients a day in October, because we know when we send them those emails, they don't always respond to them right away, and that's going to slow our claims, and if we slow our claims, we're going to slow our payments. We're going to also want to sometimes someone says, I think it's too early to train our clinicians. We don't want them to forget everything, but it's not too early to begin to give them the feedback that they'll need to improve their documentation. So if we see things that they could have been doing more specifically and documentation improvements that we're going to want in order to accurately code an ICD-10, it's not too soon to start with that kind of education. So we've run our ICD-9 frequency report. The next step is to pull some records and examine the documentation. What would we need to see